Hi, realistic fiction writers. This is Miss Woodruff here, and welcome to your next week of realistic fiction writing. Today, we're really going to dive into what a series writer is, and series writers have a lot to talk about. So, writers, you already have grown so much as fiction writers over the past few weeks. You're writing a lot, you're coming up with new characters, and you're learning new things each and every day. So, right now, I want you to take a picture in your mind and think about things that you're already better at in your realistic fiction writing. I'll give you a minute to think about and compliment yourself at what you've gotten better at while working at home. Awesome. All right, so what matters, writers, is that each of you is working hard at getting better as fiction writers. I want to show you some new and exciting work that you can do with your characters as you become series writers. Today, I want to teach you that sometimes when writers imagine a character they really like, they stick with that character for a little bit and then create more than one story around that same character. Because fiction writers sometimes write a series. Series writing is when an author likes a character and they stick to it. They write more and more stories about that character. Some examples that you may know are Henry and Mudge, Junie B. Jones, and Katie Woo. Series writers always have a lot to write about. So I want you to think about how you've grown as a writer over the last week. Think about the story or stories you've written and what you've learned from your characters and how it's been creating new adventures for them. Yesterday, I did a little brainstorming to brainstorm my own realistic fiction series. I said that my character is going to be a girl about age 7. Her name is going to be Kit, and some adventures Kit likes to go on is making a flower garden, building a birdhouse, and going for a hike. So you can do this as well, writers. You can ask yourself, what do series writers do to come up with more than one story about a character that I could do too? For example, I'm thinking about some of the Henry and Mudge stories that we've been reading. You've now listened to 3 different Henry and Mudge books. I'm asking myself, what did Cynthia Rylant do to come up with more than one story about these characters? Well, let's see. In Henry and Mudge, I guess one obvious thing is that Henry and Mudge are in all of the stories. Cynthia Rylant uses the same pretend characters. So she keeps going with these characters, and by creating new stories, she starts each book with a new day or a new night in each story. Some other things that Cynthia Rylant does is that she has some of the things happen in the same place. She includes the same friend, pet, or family members, just like Mudge and also Henry's family members. But each time she writes a new book, she's always coming up with some new adventures for her characters. And that's what makes readers keep coming back to the same series because those characters are known and loved. So today in your writing, realistic fiction writers, you're going to do 2 things in our planning process. Normally when we're at school, we will touch and tell, sketch, and maybe even write some words on the page. But to break it down a little bit, I want you to focus on just 2 steps today. The first thing you're going to do is touch and tell your story. Remember, this one is pen and pencil away. You don't need anything but paper or your computer that you're typing on and your finger. Touching and telling lets you plan for your story and gather all the ideas. Once you touch and tell across your whole book from start to finish, get that pen or that pencil or those fingers ready to type, and you can start sketching your pictures. Remember, the words are what comes third in this process, and the words and writing are going to come tomorrow in the next lesson. Here I did some planning for my next book in my book series, and this one is about my character Kit. And I did some touching and telling first, and then I sketched some pictures across all of my pages. It's going to go something like this. Follow along with me. It was a beautiful spring morning. Kit's eyes opened wide. Chirp, chirp. She heard birds singing outside of her window. As Kit woke up, she ran downstairs. "Mom, what's for breakfast today?" asked Kit. "Well, we can have some pancakes first," said Mom. Kit was so excited, but what she was most excited for was to ask her mom if they could plant flowers. Kit asked, "Can we go plant flowers outside today, Mom?" Kit and her mom ate their breakfast and soon started to gather the supplies. They got a rake, some seeds, and all of the digging tools that they would need to plant some fresh tulips. Kit and her mom went out to the yard. It was the beautiful spring day that Kit had hoped for. Up on the hill, there was a little bunny, and there were even some birds chirping in the trees. Kit felt so happy to be outside planting in the flower garden. Once all the flowers were planted, Kit and her mom decided they were feeling a little hungry. So they went inside for lunch. Mom asked, "Ready for lunch, Kit?" Kit responded, "Sure, Mom." And so they ate their lunch. Meanwhile, the little bunny was feeling hungry too. Uh-oh, writers. It's about that time in the story where you might notice that there's going to be a problem happening. So notice how I'm building up to the problem in the story and how this problem's going to be solved. Writers, you can start thinking about at this point what could be some possible solutions to solve this problem. Bunny sniffed in the air. Sniff, sniff. The flowers smelled so sweet. They smelled so tasty. They were just what Bunny was hoping for on this beautiful spring day. Bunny couldn't resist. She started to nibble at the little tulips. She was so hungry, she couldn't stop herself. As Kit and Mom walked outside to water the flowers, their eyes opened wide. Their hands flew into the air. "Oh no!" yelled Kit. "Oh no!" yelled her mother. "The bunny got the flowers." Kit and her mom were feeling so upset. This poor bunny was just feeling hungry. Okay, writers, we have a problem here. The bunny was feeling too hungry and decided to ruin the whole flower garden. How are we going to solve this problem? Think about some ideas for how I might solve my problem in the story. And I also want you to think about, as a writer, what are you going to do to solve the problem in your story? Notice how I spent some time sketching across my pages and adding details to my pictures like labels and even speech bubbles so that tomorrow when I start writing the words, I'm going to know exactly what I want to say. This is helping me make a picture in my mind for my next book in the series. Don't forget, writers, you have a writing toolkit at the back of these slides to help you. It can help you with spelling, thinking about foundations patterns, our sight word list, and even some anchor charts for what you can look at to help you plan for your writing today. All right, writers, off you go to think of some new adventures for your character. Remember, you're going to focus on touching and telling your words and also sketching your pictures today. All that good writing is yet to come tomorrow. Off you go.